Hi, Adrian Pietri, your Silo Premier agent with Beachwood Realty in the Inland Empire. How is the consumer debt in this market and how leveraged are we as consumers? Well, according to the Feds, the mortgage balance, the largest component of the household debt, surpassed the 10 trillion in the fourth quarter, increased by $182 billion to the 10 trillion at the end of December. So, what does all of this means? It is simple. We have a historic amount of mortgages taken by consumers. And why not? It makes sense to buy a house because of the low interest rates and the appreciation of these homes. Now, as a realtor with real data, I look at these numbers differently than your typical consumer without the knowledge on the market and worries that we're going to have a real estate market crash or a bubble. However, the numbers look totally different. And people are not as leveraged as they used to be or what we used to think. If you look at the household debt service ratio for mortgages as a percentage of disposable personal income, now you can see that in the 1980s, we were at 4.38%. And in the housing crisis or the housing bubble, the highest numbers that we saw was 7.21%. But if you look at today's percentages, we are at the lowest point at 3.85%. That means that we're not as leveraged as consumers, and that is great as more people have learned how to manage their expenses. When you look at this slide, then you can see the home equity cash outs at $320 billion just in 2006 on homes that were already overinflated. Now, the big difference between the housing bubble and today's market is that out of 138 million homes in the United States, 39 to 41% have no mortgage, and 56.7% have at least 50% of equity. That means that the consumers are not using their homes as their personal piggy banks anymore. Therefore, our market is a lot more stable. On this slide, you can see the number of consumers with new foreclosures as a consequence of abusing their home equity. In 2009, we had more than 566,000 homes going into foreclosures per week. But if you look at 2020, in the pandemic and with all the different problems that we were having, the number of foreclosures per quarter was only 14,000. That's a huge difference. And that shows that we're no longer using our households as personal piggy banks. That is the reason why I like to say that headlines do more to terrify than to clarify when we're watching the news. So if you have any questions about our market in the Inland Empire, please feel free to give me a call at 951-907-4834. Thank you.